Personally, I would like to call human resources of a nation as a group of educated people, politicians, technicians, and also laborers working together for the development of a nation or a nation interests. Luckily, in Myanmar, we have many educated people like doctors, engineers, lawyers, teachers, and other professions. Furthermore, there are also smart teens and kids like Generation Z and Alpha who know well the difference between the right and the wrong. However, there are still a handful of unschooled citizens. They couldn't get proper education simply because they couldn't afford to access education or they were not eager to learn when they were young. As a result, they lack the ability to differentiate between the right and the wrong, the good and the bad. It is hard for them to make a good living because they don't have basic education. Their aim is to chase after money. They will do anything to steal, to rob, to kill, or even to rape as long as they are paid. So it isn't surprising that there appeared a group of terrorists pretending to be civilians during these days. We all know that they are definitely faithful servants of Myanmar military coup. We cannot count them as a part of our human resources because they will do more harm than good to our country, Myanmar. Let us explain how.
Yes, it is true. On 25th February, a group of thugs who are known to be hired by Myanmar military junta for 5,000 checks per people per day started rioting and making harm to civilians. A CCTV camera near Pojok Market reported a violent head stabbing a peaceful protester with a sharp knife. Some of his accomplices came nearer and even beat and kicked the injured protester. There were also fights and arguments around Sulip Pagoda. Photo taken by reporters shown that aggressive attacks are hardened peaceful and unarmed civilians with stone, slingshot, stick, and even with sharp knife. It is stated in BBC Burmese that these uneducated and aggressive people hurt more than 20 civilians. The news also stated that these thugs started rioting because while they were demonstrating around Yangon train station, showing that they stand with Myanmar Tamador, the residents started banging pots and bang food. That made the thugs annoyed and they were used throwing walls to the civilians. These things led to fights and arguments between the thugs and non-violent civilians.
The ugliest and the most unfair act was our soldiers and police forces guarding those aggressive supporters of the military. These soldiers and police forces have made a lot of peaceful civilians injured badly. Dear policemen and women, why don't you want to be a part of our human resources? Let us say, human resources of Myanmar, exactly every citizen who wants to go from Myanmar can realize that the seizures of power by the military is wrong or right. Oh, here I remember the famous slogan by the military or Tamador suddenly. Tamador and the people cooperate and crush all those harming the union. Okay, let us ask, is Tamador really cooperating with people now? The answer is no. Who are harming and hurting the unarmed civilians? The answer is Myanmar Tamador and their uneducated servants. After watching this video, we really want the United Nations and other cannot to neglect us.
Just to save us from the military coup and bestow us with the democracy we want.
If that really happens, we'll be more dutiful and disciplined human resources of our country, Myanmar, in the future. We swear.